Greetings, everyone. I'm here making some jars to put my tea light. This is made from sea salt, or any salt for that matter, and food coloring. And what it does is just create these beautiful jars that you can put your tea light on. And when you light these, they're so beautiful, create a really nice ambience. Anyway, I want to talk to you about some things that I notice as it relates to sending funds to Jamaica through Western Union. It is so frustrating, people, and it leaves me asking some questions. Now, as we all know, the scam of them, bout, as they would say in Jamaica. And so people, or the government had to, tighten their rules as it relates to collecting money at Western Union. But one of the things that I'm noticing and I find very disturbing and forces me to turn on the light to look at this closer is how difficult it is for, some people to collect money at Western Union. And we are told it's because of what happened with the scamming. And when the light is off, I can accept that. But when I switch the light off on, I'm left asking these questions. Now, let me give you a scenario of a woman who has children, who works very hard, for example, works at the hotel and makes a little bit above minimum wage at the hotel. She's there from 7 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. And when the end of the week comes, she can barely buy food for her children. These are the ones who really need our support. These are the individuals in the country who are doing the best they can. They're hustling. They're, doing little things on the side, legal things, by the way, to be able to take care of their family. But these are the ones who suffer the brunt, the frustration of, getting by. Now you have folks who are washing dirty money in plain view, millions of dollars in plain view, and these individuals are allowed to go and collect funds and, do whatever it is, maintain their lifestyle or, help others maintain theirs. And then you got somebody, a little man who, again, has his responsibility and does not, make excuse for his situation. He's out there selling his little plants. But he's a senior. He's a senior citizen and he's just struggling financially. And when someone seek to assist these individuals, you find them coming upon all kinds of stumbling block. I was on the phone talking to a female that was working at the Western Union, asking me question about a small amount of money that someone needed today. And if I wasn't available, that person would have to leave. Now, keep in mind, it's not the first time the person went there to get the same money. And I've been in other situations where I've had to go back to change things at the Western Union because of this problems they're giving folks. And I'm thinking, why is it that the person who is poor, who is always the one who have to go through these trials, all these stringent measures, only seem to take effect when it comes to poor people? And the big, sharks and the ones who, have no respect for law or rules. They are the ones who, just park up the vehicle, the fancy vehicle and come up in the red bottom shoes or go to Western Union and just, flaunt your assets or whatever. And you go through without question. And the little senior citizen and the hardworking woman or the man who's always doing what he needed to do. This is why some people, they are going straight, and these kinds of things push them. I'm not justifying it, but it pushes them to do illegal things. The people who try to go straight, the ones who are honest and upstanding citizens in our country, are treated so badly. So I'm thinking, can't people use their discretion? An 80-year-old man coming in to collect $100 or $200, you're suspicious of him scamming others overseas? And yet you have people coming in with vehicles, building some kind of, monuments that they can't explain where they get the money from, and they're allowed to do this. So I'm beginning to think that this whole system with Western Union is just another ploy to sift out those who are actually in need, and to keep them in the periphery, keep them on the side with your hands around their necks. All these measures seem to only work against poor people, or people who have contributed so much to that Jamaican space, who are dedicated in being clean, upstanding citizens. They are the ones who have to be answering all these ridiculous questions. They're the ones who always have to prove that that money that they're getting, they're worthy of it. And it's disgusting. So, what I want to say before this ends is that sometimes when you're in the dark, you must switch on the light. Because when you switch that light on, you get to see the truth. But also understand that there are people in that room who don't want you to know the truth. And when you find out the truth, they sometimes put you in a position where you have to remain silent. It's up to you to determine what you're going to stay silent about and what you're going to shed light on. And I'm shedding light on this to say those stringent measures might have been useful, but who is it being used against? Because as I said, in plain view, dirty money getting washed left, right, and center. And those persons are allowed to continue doing what they're doing. And the innocent person, the person who just wants to survive, is having the hard questions thrown at them, always having to prove themselves or proving their worth. A few months ago, I was in Jamaica, and I went to a mom's and pop's place to get some snacks. And when we got there, we spent $900, and all we walked out with was just a little black bag with a few banana chips. So imagine those who are working minimum wage and who must rely on folks who, can assist them once in a while. And these folks usually are not asking for help. These are the ones that you have to see with your own eye. Some years ago, a teacher said something to me and I never forgot. She said to me, I see who you are and I realize I cannot stop you. So here's what you're going to learn. The people who come to you and ask you for help are often the ones who don't need it. It's the ones who don't ask who need it the most. Use your eyes. Because you would have kids coming to me and telling me their heartbreaking stories. And before you know it, day after day after day, I was going home, not even transportation money because I was bleeding every day hearing all these stories. But a lot of time I was getting scammed. It's the ones who stayed on the corner, the ones who stayed in the back, in the shadows. Those are the ones who were truly in need. And the same thing is true for many people in Jamaica now. The mothers who work hard, who have done everything they can to stay straight, and those fathers who are hustling in the street, legal measures of making money. And if someone reach out to assist them, these are the ones who are having the hardest time. The senior citizens who've worked hard to build our country, who would say, I don't want to get in any trouble. When they're raising their children, they're always wanting their kids to stay out of trouble. And now that they're in their senior years, these are the ones who are having trouble getting blocked at Western Union. Meanwhile, these criminals, show up, with every sign that, they got money that they can't explain, yet they're allowed to collect their money, brush their tail off, and go back to their illicit gains. I don't know what the explanation is, but injustice, for some reason, seem to have a hold on poor people. And it's a crying shame. A senior or a woman with her children shouldn't have to go through all of this just to collect a small amount of money. It is a deliberate attempt to frustrate people overseas so that they don't do what they can to contribute to building their own country. Stay blessed, everybody.